What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to go over a few things Polestar released. They did release some EPA numbers and some enhancements, so we'll go over that and we'll compare them to some Tesla numbers because there's an article that these numbers are beating Tesla Model Y's numbers, so we'll go through that and see if it's true. But if you guys are enjoying these videos, make sure you smash the like button and subscribe to the channel. I do videos every week. Before we start, I want you guys to appreciate the current design of the Polestar 2. At first I was okay with the design. I didn't really think too much of it, but now that I'm further looking into the design, I really do appreciate it. If you take a look the way that they designed the Polestar 2, they're able to compete with the Model 3 since it's both a sedan, but since it also has a higher ride height, it does also help compete with the Model Y. Now from the inside, I did read that the reviews say you don't feel like you're sitting really high, which is a good thing, but it does give it that exposure to help compete with the Model Y. Also, not to mention that they are trying to compete against Porsche as well, but we'll talk about that in just a second. For now, I just want you guys to appreciate the design because I have actually grown to like the design a lot more than I did initially. Before we go through the new update that they released, I do want to share with you guys their new 3-year plan. They're hoping to bring new power, product architecture, and a way to differentiate themselves from Volvo, as well as expecting to break even in 2023 and turning a profit by 2025. So one of the first things that they have confirmed to help diversify themselves from Volvo is that they're going to create this new aluminum space frame chassis. I think that's going to be for the Polestar 5, which is actually confirmed now. It used to just be a concept, but now that that has been confirmed, they do also release some new details. So they're going to expect to do a level 3 driver assistance, which will be helped by the Luminar partnership. As you know, Geely and Volvo are partners with Luminar, so easily Polestar is able to connect with Luminar and get some help for that. With this model, they're also going to create a new motor called the P10 that's going to create 600 plus horsepower, and this is going to allow them to be 50% more powerful than the electric vehicles Porsche is currently making. Now there could be some doubters, but Polestar does have a pretty good reputation. They have a pretty good history of building championship winning touring cars, and they are also technically partners with Lotus, which Lotus and Polestar are both owned by Geely, so again it only makes sense that these guys can cooperate under the same ecosystem. One design that's going to be shared with the Geely brands is this new battery design they're working on. It's going to allow them to charge 80% in just 20 minutes. It's also going to allow them to do this bi-directional charging, which I'm sure you've seen commercials of Ford doing that with their new pickup truck. So this will allow them to do reverse charging and power the house in case there's a power outage or any severe weather. So that is plans further down the road. Their next big task is actually producing the Polestar 3, which is going to be an SUV, guys. And this one also is going to be competing with Porsche. It's going to have a more aggressive, sportier look than the XC90. And it's also going to have 400 plus horsepower with 486 torque. And this one will be available in 2 different configurations, which will be the single and the dual motor. So here's an unofficial rendering of the Polestar 3. It does have those Thor headlights, similar to those in the Polestar 5, and it does help give that aggressive, futuristic look. Just to be clear, I think this one will be released in 2022 or early 2023. And then down the road, they will be working on a smaller version called the Polestar 4. So that'll be a smaller version of the SUV. And so yeah, looking like Polestar 3 will arrive in 2023. It'll have a starting price of $80,000, while the 2024 Polestar 4 will be a lot cheaper at only $50,000. And then after that, they'll work on the Polestar 5. But overall, after all these models are in production, they are expected to do like 290,000 vehicles by 2025, and so that will be a 10x from today's production capability of 29,000. So those look like some great plans on paper. We'll just have to wait for them to execute. But the best part is that they do already have the Polestar 2 in 14 different markets. But let's take a look at today's article. This was posted today, December 15, 2021. So today, the EPA did announce the Polestar 2 will have a 270 miles per charge range. And they did compare that to the Model Y, which is getting 244. And then Barron's also stated that that beats Tesla. So we'll compare those numbers, see if those are true. One of the things I do want to compare is the battery size in the watts per hour. So the Polestar 2 has a bigger battery pack. It's 78 kilowatts per hour, while the standard Model Y does come with a 50 kilowatt battery pack. Polestar 2 is getting 3.5 miles per kilowatt and Tesla is getting 4.9. So the Tesla is more efficient as far as kilowatts per hour, but then they also state that the extended Model Y comes with 330 and that has a similar battery pack of 75 kilowatts. They state though that the Model Y does come with 2 motors versus the Polestar only has 1 motor. Horsepower, there is a difference. Model Y is getting 350 and then the Polestar 2 does only have 230. So I think here if you compare the 2 motor Polestar 2 versus versus the Model Y, which also has 2 motors. You do get more horsepower, which is 408 versus 350. But you do lose about 1/3 in mileage range from the Model Y having 330 versus the Polestar 2 having 250. So that will depend if you want a faster vehicle or if you prefer the longer range. But also note that the 2-motor Polestar 2 will also be getting an upgrade. They're gonna add a little bit over 60 horsepower to this already 400 horsepower. So expect about 470 plus after the upgrade. So this one is definitely gonna outpace the horsepower in the Model Y. So I wanted to see if the 244 range for the Tesla Y was true, but I could only find the range for 300 plus. And actually one of the comments said that the Model Y does not have 244, at least not in the US. So unfortunately the article is misleading, but I did look at the Model 3, and for the Model 3 you're getting about 267 to 272. So it does stack up against the Model 3. Unfortunately it doesn't beat the higher tiers, the longer range and performance. Those are easily past 300 miles. But it is a good starting point, I think, in my opinion. And it also does introduce that over-the-air concept that Tesla has been doing. So it does look like Polestar is in the right direction. They just need more time for development and continuous updates to be able to hopefully compete against Tesla. But at the same time, Tesla will be doing the same, so it will always be a back and forth. I think one of the best selling points for Polestar will be once those later models come out. The technology for those will definitely be a lot more improved, and people will also want to have a distinct car to help distinguish themselves from the rest, since it'll be the next cool thing that nobody has. So I'll wrap this video up. The long range single motor is going to have 270 miles of range with the update, and I'll be using the same battery the dual motor version has, but it will only have 230 horsepower instead of 409. And then they also will have an update for the dual motor, which is going to add their horsepower up to 476 with 500 plus torque. And pricing for these updates will be released later this month, but I think I did read somewhere that's going to be around $1,000. So you guys let me know if that update is worth it. In my opinion, I think it's a great first step. It shows that Polestar is continually designing and trying to do improvements for their current models. Well guys, that is all I have for today's video. I try to do a quick rundown, so if I miss anything, comment down below and I will get back to you. But don't forget to like the video so we can get this out to other investors, and subscribe to the channel for more videos like this. Hope you guys have a great day, and I will see you guys in the next video.